Hello, and welcome back to another episode of BioNexus Health Clinic podcast series, Autism Uprooted. Today, we are traveling to Dubai and speaking with Mustafa, a father of twins, Ali and Ahmad, that have had remarkable progress following a full herbal protocol that was started, I think, less than a year ago. But we will let Mustafa tell us what his journey has been in recovering both his boys diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Let's welcome Mustafa to the podcast today.
Welcome to the BioNexus Health Podcast with Dr. Jodie A. Dashore, who holds a PhD in integrative medicine, is board certified in integrative pediatrics, an internationally recognized pioneering clinician, and author. And now here's your host of BioNexus Health Podcast, Dr. Jodie A. Dashore.
Mustafa, welcome to today's podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
So right off the bat, let's start with asking you, you have twins, you have Ali and Ahmad. How old are they?
They are about 7.
They're 7 years old. Okay.
7 years old, yeah.
Okay. And they've both had issues, they've both been diagnosed on the autism spectrum. So can you tell us a little bit about what your journey has been like? At what age were they diagnosed, and some of the things that you were informed, would work for children on the spectrum? What treatments have you tried? And I mean before, okay. Right? And I mean before you heard about BioNexus Health.
Okay. Actually, my kids were born 7 years ago, and they were like healthy looking, normal kinds of kids. And everything was okay until they were 1 year old or something like that. The only thing that was unusual about my kids, I mean, talking in the context of my family, other kids, they were not vocal. Okay. They couldn't speak until they couldn't speak at all. So 1 year passed, and then 2 years passed, and then I started a little bit worried that why, like, my children, and apart from them, everything was normal. And even they started uttering a few words by like a couple of years later,
okay.
A year later.
Okay.
Like when they were 3, they could utter a few words. But then what happened that my older son, Ali, actually he started behaving very unusually. He started forgetting everything that he had learned. A few words that he could speak, and then he started doing, and the younger kid as well, but doing all these things, and they were completely, they couldn't speak, and whatever they had learned until the age of 3, they almost forgot everything. Oh. And then Ali in particular, what he did that, like, he started doing unusual things, which I had never noticed myself before in any kind of, in any child in my family. I was not aware of autism. I think I have never learned about this autism thing.
Okay.
So they started doing very unusual things. Both of them would, particularly Ali, he lost his eye contact. Both of them lost their eye contact.
Okay.
They would walk on their toes. They would love to move in circles, and they would nothing like. So these things were quite worrisome. So I took them to a peds doctor, and he told me he diagnosed them with autism.
Both of them.
So both of them.
Okay.
So that was like.
So Mustafa, I have a question. So you're saying that Ali, the older twin, he started having symptoms first, and he always seemed to be the one that was a little bit more severe than Ahmad.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. So they were both diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Okay, what did you do next?
When the doctor told me so, the previous doctor, then I came home and I did I did my own research on autism, and I surfaced the internet, and I came to know that like this is something really a bad thing that has happened to my kids, and I cried a lot. I cried a lot, and I thought that like everything is now everything is lost for me, because I mean it's really very painful when you know that both of your kids are autistic. Both of your kids have been stricken by a disease that does not have any treatment in sight. So I was then told by the doctor to take them to a therapy center, and the doctor told me that there is no cure for autism, but you can have them therapy. And even I was not aware about any therapy, so I surfaced on internet. I did my own small kind of little kind of research, and I took them to a nearby center, and then the therapist there told me that yes, like autism is kind of disease that is a disease which has no cure from the allopathic from the in medical science. It doesn't have any cure. So all you can have is that you can have your children go through a therapy, and in this therapy we would try to we will make them learn some skills, some kinds of and thereby you can see some kind of improvements in their behavior. And they could never get normal, but like somehow they will be you will see some kind of improvements in their behaviors. Again, like it was like the end of world for me. But then I was going through a book, and I was like going through a book, and I read somewhere that autism could be because of leaky gut. This is the first clue that I had, and I was astonished, and it was like a ray of hope for me. And then I started watching videos, and I also watched a video of a couple whose son had autism, and they were referring to someone by the name Dr. Dashore. And I was wondering that who is this Dr. Dashore? And that was an Indian couple. And I thought as if like this Dr. Dashore is somebody who is based in India. Okay. And I searched so much about Dr. Dashore, but I couldn't find anything. And
I see. Okay. So Mustafa, so they actually mispronounce my name.
Exactly, I'm coming to that.
I see. Okay.
No, they actually didn't but I misheard it. Okay. And then I was continually doing, and my children were going to the therapy center, but nothing substantial. No substantial improvement was occurring in their behavior. Mm-hmm. So one day I came across about a doctor by the name Dr. Dashore. And then I said, okay, that Indian couple was actually referring to Dr. Dashore, not Dr. B. I misheard it like, this was the very first experience that I came to know about you. Okay. And as I told you that I had read somewhere that like autism might be having something with a leaky gut. And then I mean, as I told you that I was continuously every day, I would research something Like there are numerous websites about autism, about various doctors, and on YouTube also you can see a lot of videos.
Yes.
And then I got the correct, I got the correct address, and that address was to go to BioNexus. And then I contacted your staff. They gave me appointment.
Okay.
And it was like when it was last year, I think July 2020.
Yes, Mustafa. It's been almost a year. No, it's been a year. It's been a year since I saw both Ali and Ahmad. Now, so here's the thing, right? I mean, as you know, I'm an autism mom as well, and it is still the lack of awareness. Now, where you are in the Middle East and where I am in the United States, it's pretty much the same approach from the pediatrician. You have a child on the autism spectrum. There is no cure. There is some ABA therapy available. There's OT, sensory, PT, speech, like whatever is needed. But it is a lifelong disease. There's no cure. It is what it is. So it's just, there isn't much of a difference between what you were told and what most parents here are told as well. But there are so many other resources out there that just because allopathic medicine doesn't have an answer, doesn't mean that naturopathic doesn't have an answer either. So
exactly.
Yeah. All right. So you are mentioning, both of your sons were barely verbal, and they had many behavioral issues. And if I'm not mistaken, you had to actually, I really applaud you for that, for all the effort that you put in. You had to relocate to another city just because you were told that the therapy centers in that city were supposed to be better.
Exactly. I had to relocate myself to another city because I was told that the therapy center there is better, and I had to move my entire family.
You had to move. You had to move your entire family. Wow.
Exactly, and it cost me a lot throughout. I mean, it took more than 1.5 years that I lived in a city that is not my native city, and it entailed a lot of expenses apart from the ABA center fee, because the living expense in a new city, because I had to keep 2 houses at both, one at my native city and the other one in the new city, and in the city that was new to me. And my children were getting this therapy, but as I told you, therapy does not have a substantial impact on a child's behavior, a child who is autistic. So it was July last year. I mean, I had to ask your staff for an appointment in May, and they gave me, the nearest appointment available was in the month of July. And then I had a very detailed discussion with you, and it was the beginning of the cure of my children. It is 1 year now that my children are under treatment, with you, and they have, at the end of this 1 year, they are still under treatment, but they have shown phenomenal progress, phenomenal changes. My younger son, Ahmad, he has improved tremendously. He also had, he was not vocal. He was stubborn. He has a lot of stubbornness in his behavior, and he was very aggressive. Although he did not have some of the autism or many of the autism, typical autism symptoms, but he was not vocal. He was, and then when we started the treatment, everything was then backed by evidence, like the test that we conducted, like the medical test, the the toxin tests and
Yes.
the blood tests and I mean, a lot of tests. You did a very thorough investigation. Everything became clear. Even the younger son had more, he was more impacted than the older son, because, his body had a lot more toxins than the elder sons.
Then Ali's, yeah.
But yeah, then Ali. But the point is that, like, once the treatment, now I can say that, like, my younger son, as I said, has improved tremendously. My older son, Ali, also has improved tremendously. Ali was someone who had gone to a state where he was absolutely irrelevant to his surroundings. He wouldn't respond to anything. He was like, even like if there was he was completely unresponsive to anything. He had no eye contact, etc., etc. But after this treatment, things started changing gradually. Now Ali too has performed very well. He has got his eye contact back. He now responds to my call. He now comes to me and loves me whenever I ask him to give me a kiss. He does give me a kiss.
Aww.
So these things were out of thought until a year ago. I didn't think that he would ever come to this kind of, he would ever recover this much. But as I said, the treatment is still underway. And inshallah, they will improve far better than they have. But what I can say is that, I had my own problem. I got psoriasis like 4 years ago. I went to the dermatologist, to the best dermatologist, and every dermatologist told me that psoriasis is something that is not curable.
Yes.
You have to deal with it for the rest of your life, and there is no answer for this. You can just control it, and you will have to take a medication for the whole of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so much irritated with this, and then I started surfing on internet, did my research, and then I came to know about a regimen called Dr. Pagano regimen. And then I ordered that book, and thereby I got the clue that this psoriasis has nothing to do with your skin. Actually, it's a gut problem, and you treat your gut. And this is something that has personally happened to me, that my psoriasis has completely vanished. So what I would say to all those parents who have autistic children, I must tell them that medical science does not have an answer to many diseases like psoriasis, like autism. So you got to try something else. And that's, for me, that something else is BioNexus. That is you, your protocol. And my children, alhamdulillah, tremendously, and I cannot be thankful enough to you for what you have been doing to my children. So that is my little story. As I say, like every day, alhamdulillah, there is something new, like some good thing is happening. And I mean, autism is something that is not as I have personally witnessed myself, and because of the evidence that we have, like all the medical tests that we did. So there was an underlying medical condition, and that medical condition, I'm not a doctor, but this is what I understand as a layman, that if you treat that medical condition, then you treat autism, in a layman's word. And I have seen that personally myself, that when the test results came, and even we have to send these tests, these samples to the US. Like, and the point is that, like, this is a treatable, this is a curable disease. And again, I would say thank you again for everything that you have been doing. So this is like the short version of my story. It has been a lot of, there has been a lot of pain over the last 3-4 years since my children were diagnosed with autism. A lot of pain, but then a lot of happiness as well. And inshallah, I hope that my children will be completely well. As I said, like my younger child, Ahmed now has started using washroom himself without any proper training. So if I train him just for a day or two, he will be able to. And he also has started uttering small phrases. He has moved ahead from uttering a word to a phrase now. So hopefully he will start uttering complete sentences, hopefully, inshallah, very soon. And Ali will start uttering words very soon, I hope, inshallah. So both of them are on recovery, and I'm very, very satisfied. Very satisfied. Oh. I think this is the best that I believe this is the best that I can do for my children.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Mustafa, for giving us so many details about their journey that Ali and Ahmed, and of course yourself, have been on. Years of therapy did not really give you any improvement in spite of all of the hardships, but you decided to go for an herbal protocol. It's all herbs, it's all natural, but exactly. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. So I have to give you, you and your wife a lot of credit for accommodating all of the herbals, how they have to be taken, all of the supplements, all of the dietary changes. So both of you were all in. You were 100% committed, and that is what is required. And in less than a year, you saw some tremendous changes that much longer in therapy you hadn't seen. And yes, exactly. And I would agree with you, that it's important to look for evidence. It needs to be evidence-based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's this evidence is not generated by, you just go and get these tests done by the lab of your own choice. Right. A credible lab anywhere, and you will get the evidence that like this, there is something, there is a medical condition in Lyme, and you need to have the services of a very qualified herbal doctor like you. I know you, so I don't know about many others, but what I say is that everything is evidence-based. And secondly, I also urge all parents that, well, do your therapy, whatever gives you comfort. But I must say that you just try at least once the herbal treatment. You just try for a year, and you see the results. And I assure, and because this is like, nothing could be more painful than seeing your children so helpless.
Yes.
And so that is, I must tell everyone, like, it's something that I am speaking from the very core of my heart, that like, don't believe that like my autism is not treated. It has cure.
Yes, so, yes, definitely.
We have been.
Let's. I had a question. So you mentioned, at the very beginning, you mentioned leaky gut. So can you talk a little bit about how the gut has gotten better for Ali and Ahmed, how they are doing on their gluten-free diet, and as well as sleep. Has sleep improved? Has their eating habits improved? I know for a fact it was hard to cut out junk food, like Coke and what have you. Right? McDonald's and Coke. So it's exactly. Very important to heal the gut. So can you tell us a little bit more about what the gut issues were and where they are now? Has everything gotten better?
Mm-hmm. Well, another thing that I must tell you in this regard is that my older son, Ali, he used to have constipation in his early years. And I also mentioned that in our very first appointment, I let you know that, like, and I also gave you the history of his treatment. When he would So when I got like this psoriasis myself, and then when I heard about this leaky gut, so I was convinced that like his constipation problem, etc., it must have something to do with his leaky gut. Their food was like mostly they would eat junk foods and chocolates and everything, etc. When before they got diagnosed, or even after they're diagnosed, even before I heard that like it has something to do with the gluten or something like that. So after now, I have cut down everything, all junk food, no Coke, no Pepsi, no like nothing. Everything is homemade, everything. And apart from their supplements, their food is extremely important, as you advised me, and as I read it somewhere, but like it's your advice mainly. And it makes a lot of common sense. It makes a lot of common sense. And then their sleep, their Ali has never ever gone on constipation after I started your medication. After I regulated their food, no constipation at all. Even before, and in the past, I used to perform an enema for him because he would got this so much, so severe constipation. So after we regularized his food, no gluten, no dairy, and
No junk.
nothing cooked, nothing processed, no junk food, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So their eating habits have improved tremendously. Their sleep has improved tremendously, and I would say so like this is very important. This has played a very crucial role in their cure. Like this food regularity, or along with supplements, I would say like this also has been very important, as I have seen this myself.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I do have to mention, I do agree with you as well, that not every child, first of all, every child is different. You have to look at the genetics, you have to look at the environmental factors, genetics, right, and epigenetics, and you have to customize. Even though Ali and Ahmed are twins, their protocol is not identical, right?
Exactly.
They have their own, right? They have their own regimens.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And also I've seen that many children, it's not that all children don't benefit at all from the various therapies. Like when it comes to me, my son benefited from physical therapy because the infections were giving him physical issues, like leg weakness, left leg became paralyzed, etc. So physical therapy was helpful. However, I did not find much benefit from developmental therapy or ABA or speech. So we kind of stopped that after a few months. I didn't really see any major changes. So knowing what I knew, I decided to focus on sensory integration. But yes, some children do benefit from various therapies that are available for autism spectrum disorder. And, combining a thorough customized herbal protocol for children, it might work hand in glove with the therapies and you will see additional benefit. So that is something that I wanted to mention, that every child has their own way of getting better and healing the brain. First you heal the gut, and then eventually, slowly you use herbs that cross the blood-brain barrier and start healing the brain. This takes time, but you have to understand that it is completely non-invasive. There's no needles, we're not using anything invasive, any kind of donations from other human beings. I'm not putting that into my child. All I'm doing is nature's gift, which is herbs.
Exactly. Yes. The point is that you treat like hundreds of children, and absolutely, you're right. For some people, therapy might be for some children, therapy might be of benefit along with herbal treatment. As you said, like it could supplement them. But I was talking from my own experience that like therapy, yes, does help. But as I understand, like, after being in contact with you, and after, what I would say is that for my children, it's like mainly the herbal, supplements, the herbal treatment, medicines that you have put them on. That thing has been more beneficial. And yes, of course, you're right. For some, we don't know. Yes, both might be very beneficial. But what I would say, my belief is that, like, I have seen that myself, that there is an underlying medical condition. I could see the test results myself. So, yes, I mean, as a doctor, you would know it better than we do. 100 times more better, 100 times better.
Well, Mustafa, first of all, thank you for, thank you for being here today. And second of all, it's been a privilege, and it's been a blessing helping you to help your sons.
Thank you. As I said, I cannot thank you. I cannot be thankful enough for what you have been doing for my children and for all other children who actually are in treatment with you. So may God bless you. May God continue blessing you.
Mustafa, will you summarize what you feel? You've been generous and shared Ali and Ahmed's story, and from all of your experience, with various things that you've done for your sons over the years, what would be the key message that you would like to give to other parents in a similar situation?
Well, it's very simple, doctor. If I could tell this to every parent with autistic child or children, if I could tell them personally that, you don't have, the medical science tells you that they don't have a cure for this, for autism. So you have only one option to try, and that is the herbal medication. And that is the option that works. I mean, you have no other option. You cannot rely on allopathic medicine. So they frankly tell you they don't have anything for that. So you only have one option, as I see it, and that option works. It has. I can tell this to anyone, and I mean, this is something that is very. It does make very common. It is based on common sense that you have only one option, and my personal experience that this does work. This option does work. You must try this at least. You must try this.
It has been wonderful right from the beginning to see how your demeanor, your mood has improved, as your children have improved, Mustafa. I remember you were, very depressed, in tears, very frustrated when I first met you. And then eventually, in the beginning, you were a little bit overwhelmed. Oh my God, so many herbals. And then, as
exactly.
Right, as you started to get used to things, as things started to flow, things became routine, you started to see improvements. I've seen you, my goodness, I remember the last time I saw you was a few days ago, and you were beaming, you were smiling, I've never seen you. It's so happy. And I also saw Ahmed, who decided to visit on the Zoom call, and oh my goodness, he was so well behaved. He was happy. He was saying sentences, like small phrases, but he was paying attention. So it's just I'm really happy to see the progress with Ali and Ahmed. I'm so happy for you, and I'm sure that you have inspired many parents today as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope I have. Yes, like together we all can beat this monster which is called autism, which has ruined many lives, not only of children but of their parents as well. In our society, if your child is diagnosed with something like this, so then he becomes a butt of jokes for everyone. He becomes a laughing stock for everyone. So that is why I have kept my children. This is a very close secret that is known to me and to some of my closest family members. I want them to be, I don't want to disclose their disease to others until they get better. They get to a point where they cannot be deemed as autistic children. Right. So, I hope that every parent, I just urge them that you must try this option. You have no other option. That is very simple. And believe me, it will change your lives, your child's life.
So that brings us to the conclusion of today's podcast. I hope it was useful and inspirational to many watching. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And I really look forward to seeing all of you at our next episode of Autism Uprooted podcast series. Namaste.
Thank you for joining Master Herbalist Dr. Jodie A. Dashore, Director of the BioNexus Health Clinic and BioNexus Herbals, on the BioNexus Health Podcast, where we explore and share information and stories about recovering and healing from chronic and environmental illnesses such as mold biotoxin illness, Lyme disease, autism spectrum disorder, fatigue, Crohn's and colitis, mast cell activation syndrome, PANS, and more. Please help us grow our message by subscribing to our podcast channel and sharing the podcast on your social networks. For more information, visit bionexushealth.com.
Information within this video, audio, or text, collectively known as the podcast, has not been reviewed by the FDA. Nothing within the podcast is intended as or should be construed as medical advice. Information is for general informational and educational purposes only. Consumers of the podcast should consult with their healthcare practitioners for medical recommendations. Seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider. Do not disregard the advice of a healthcare provider based on any information from the podcast. The information within the podcast may contain information concerning dietary supplements or over-the-counter products that are not drugs. Our dietary supplement products are not intended for use as a means to cure, treat, prevent, diagnose, or mitigate any disease or other medical or abnormal condition.